Let's take a Bible pause with Pastor William and Scott.
What does Jesus mean when he says in Matthew 7:22 through 24, "On that day many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness."
In that text, as Dr. Ferguson brings out, the phrase is a relational term. Mm-hmm. Go back into the Old Testament again. Adam knew his wife. It's a very intimate relational word. We know today we know it means sexual intercourse. Mm-hmm. He knew her in a very intimate fashion that like no one else knew. It's a relational word, okay? So when we read that, Jesus says, I never knew you. I was never in a relationship with you. You did a lot of religious works, but you were never a true believer. Mm-hmm. Now that is the verse that I think should give a lot of people pause because they're just going along playing a religious game. Right. I believe, yeah. And yet Jesus says to people who had works, they were casting out demons, they were doing miracles. The word, we've done many wonderful things in your name. That phrase, wonderful things, is the same used for miracles that Christ did. We've cast out devils. We've had power in the spirit realm. We've spoken with spiritual authority. And Jesus says, I don't know you. And I never did know you. Mm-hmm. And that again is one of the most powerful passages about my own journey with the Reformed. The beauty of the Reformed teachings is that this isn't a matter of someone who was a Christian and stopped being a Christian. Mm-hmm. This is somebody up to the moment of their death, they were doing these religious things. And Jesus says, I don't know you. So there is that sense of, and what Dr. Ferguson brings out is that Jesus cannot be talking there about relational knowledge because he knows everything. He's God. Okay. Right. So he can't be saying, I don't know things about you. Mm-hmm. It has to have the connotation that we were never in a relationship of master to servant, Lord to subject, father to child. It was never that. It was always this religious pretense. And that's very important because a lot of people say, well, predestination, foreknowledge means God knew ahead of time that I would believe, and he chose me for salvation based upon that. Well, that's, again, flies in the face of passages like that, mm-hmm. where God is talking about you're not in a relationship. Right. It's not about I don't know things or I don't have factual knowledge. It's a relational term.
Right. And we need to ask ourselves, not only does Jesus know us, do we know him?
Right.
And if you're in a relationship, then you want to know someone. I mean, just think about the relationship between husband and wife, which is a parallel that the Bible uses, right. Or between Christ and the church. I mean, you can't have a relationship with someone that you don't know.
Exactly. Or whatever kind of relationship we would call it, it's not the level that you're mentioning between husband and wife, because that's a relationship that is closer than any other relationship. In fact, there have been even studies saying that homosexual couples do not have that degree of closeness. Well, we know why, because that's not God's plan.
Right.
But when you're going to have a relationship with your husband or wife that is different from your children, from your parents, and predominantly because you're going to be with this person twice or three times as long as you will be with either one of those situations. So it is a deep relational word. And I wanted to go back to that because what you hear a lot of times, this is later in the discussions about the Reformed doctrines, but the idea of the perseverance of the saints, eternal security. Mm-hmm. And you have people say, well, I'm not in fellowship, but I'm in relationship. I'm not in church and I'm not really doing Christian things, but I'm in relationship. And the question I always ask is, what kind of relationship is it if you never want to be with the person you're in relationship to?
That's right.
I mean, would you consider a healthy marriage if you said, I never want to be with my wife? Or would you consider it a healthy family if you said, I don't care whether I ever see my children? I mean, yes, you are related, but you're not, so that whole argument just falls apart. When Jesus uses the term, I never knew you, he's meaning we've never been in a kind of relationship where there's this interaction and connection and involvement with each other. You're just running out there doing your own thing and thinking that that's okay.
We hope you were blessed by this Bible Pause. To listen to the entire discussion, go to our YouTube channel. The link is listed in the description below. Thanks for listening.